iPhone users are kind of like try to be like bougie people, in crowd type people. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying what I'm saying, man.
You about to step on the toe.
From the black women, I see they don't have that patience like that. You know what I'm saying? But white women, they'll take it on the chin.
Well, okay. Well, this is.
Any of y'all got the Trump Bible?
Or the shoes.
The man selling. The man. Let me tell you about Trump. One thing about Trump, he's a hustler, man. That boy Trump is a hustler. He will sell anything. A shoe, a stamp, a 3-cent lamp.
See, Nicky, he took everything from me. I went from a place of living a life like this to oatmeal cookies.
No child born out of my loins will ever be born to poverty. That's what what I'm working on now.
And we are live, y'all. Welcome to Overflow, the Everyday People Show. It's the only show where me, you, your mama, and your cousin too get to just come on and chop it up. Like I said, y'all, welcome to the show. We got a lot lined up today for y'all. We're going to talk about some black issues, man, stuff that's going on in the black community that need to be talked about, man. And we got some people coming on to chop it up with us today. We're going to talk about what happened to we're going to talk about the effects of desegregation has had in the black community. If y'all don't know what desegregation is when they desegregated everything and gave us the right to go, to harmonize with
everybody.
Yeah. So what do y'all think? Desegregation, the effect desegregation had on our community as a whole? Do y'all think desegregation was a good thing, or do y'all think it kind of put us behind the 8 ball? You know, and I was reading a post. Ashley made a post. My daughter Ashley, she made a post about desegregation. She was wanting to know. Did it hurt us or did it help us? And also, we're going to talk about the black family. What happened to the black family, the 2-parent home, like mom and dad, and what happened to the black family, y'all? Y'all do us one favor. Y'all please share this live, man. Share this live to your favorite group, your favorite friend, especially your nosy friends. Well, anyway, did I introduce you?
No.
Damn. Well, anyway, y'all, I'm your boy RL, and she is
Jenny
from the block.
Hi, everybody.
I just got right into it and just forgot you were sitting right there. But y'all, please share this live, man. We're gonna be talking about what effect has desegregation had on the black community? Has it helped or hurt us? Has desegregation helped or hurt us? And the second topic will be what happened to the 2-parent home in the black community? Has it been a lasting effect on us? Like, you think that has kind of like hurt us as a people, like not having mom and daddy together in the same? And I'm gonna let y'all. We're gonna tell y'all what happened to that. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it, man. Let me get some folks up here, man. Chop it up. We got some more stuff we're gonna talk about in case we our mouths get tired of talking about the same thing. Let me get some folks up here, man. The person who posed this question is none other than Ashley Hemsley. What's up, girl? What's going on, Ashley? I'm so proud of you, girl.
Thank you. Hello, how y'all doing?
Videos and Instagram. Follow the Hemsleys.
I'm trying to be a content creator on my
Are you talking? I can't hear you. I can't hear you talking. You got your mic on?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can't. Let me see. Are you muted? You might be muted or something. Let me see.
I'm not muted.
I don't hear your mouth. I know you talk loud now.
Can you hear me now?
You must got yourselves. The shoe when I come in. But anyway, we're gonna bring my boy TB up in this building. What's up, TB? What's going on?
Hey, what's good with you, man? Been a minute, man.
It might be something we doing. What did I? Let me see. Let me check my sound. It must be my sound, y'all. Let me check my sound. Let me go to audio and I'm gonna go to speaker. Should I go to speaker? Are you there?
I hear
You hear me?
some.
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was something going. It was on our end. I apologize, y'all. I apologize. Well, anyway, man, we got TB in the building. Terry Bacchus. What's up, Terry?
Hey, Bank, how you doing, man? It's been a minute.
Hey, man. Good to see you, man.
Hey,
Likewise,
everybody.
likewise.
And let me bring to the stage Ashley Helmsley.
Okay, can
What's
you hear
up,
me?
Ashley? Yeah, I hear you good. It was something
Okay,
going on.
okay.
It was something going on our end that I was screwing up. So
Okay.
how you doing?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing? I got my
Awesome,
husband here.
awesome. So Ashley, you post that question. That hey, what's up, Mr. Helmsley? You got him in the background, looking on the shoulder.
Hi, welcome.
Yeah. So you post the question about desegregation and how has it had an effect on the Black community. I'm gonna try to play this video. I don't know if it's gonna work or not.
I see you've been playing videos of white
Say
people
what?
talk about desegregation about in the Black community. We'll need to.
You
It's
don't
a lot of
want
people on YouTube.
You don't want to hear white people talk about desegregation.
In the Black community, I don't. It's a
Okay,
lot of people on YouTube that.
And you know, the question that you posed is a really good question because I've wondered about that like years ago. Like, is it really, what are the pros and cons of it? Is it a really good thing? Was it good for us? Or did some things work against us in the midst of when we thought we were winning to be, desegregated?
But let me play a little. I'm gonna see this video. Can y'all hear this video? If
Okay.
not,
Others have left
can y'all hear
in
that?
order for that children
Yeah.
needed break.
Okay.
There are so many dehumanizing elements in the welfare system that we are concerned about removing. Ultimately, we are concerned about a guaranteed annual income. And the other thing I think it is very necessary to say is that everybody's on welfare in this country. And when it comes to Black people and poor people, we just call it something else. When it's for white people and rich, we call it subsidies.
It's no secret. Fatherless households are more common.
This
in Black
actually was the
community.
wrong video.
A
I didn't
survey
want to
from
play
the
this
American
video.
Consensus Institution revealed that 67% of Black children under 18 in the U.S.
Y'all
live
don't
in
want to hear
homes
about the
without
white man
fathers.
talking about
This
it.
is a stark contrast to white children, as only 24%.
Because they don't know. What they're going to tell us about being Black.
We survived generations of open racism.
Okay, that was the one about the Black families, the Black fathers. Let me see. Can this play? Oh, okay.
Whatever they had is sitting out there for a long time, like they didn't know what to do with us. But once we got in the classroom, I remember parents coming in and just grabbing their kids by the hand because the kids sitting at the desk and just yanking them up and taking them out the classroom. The three of us bonded, because it was just us and our teacher. And we had a great first grade teacher. If she didn't want to be there, we didn't know it. She treated us fairly. She did what she had to do, and she was an older lady, and she was really
She's
nice
talking
to us.
about desegregating
I
in
guess we had a good
I
time,
think she
best
was
we
in
could at
Louisiana
the school with just the
and
three
her
of us,
experience.
considering what we went through. And we wait for the marshals to come and pick us up, and we skip on out the door and go to the cars, and then go home and Do the same thing over the next day. And my dad used to always say, watch the way you act and carry yourself in a certain way because people are watching you. They're watching you to see if you're going to mess up because that's what they expect you to do. And my dad and Tessie, they work at the post office. And when that first happened, the segregation first happened, the word had got out that one of the girls, dad worked at the post office, even though it was two of them, they didn't know. And somebody took and wrote a note up on the bulletin board, post office board is different now than it was 60 years ago, saying that they wanted somebody to come forward and say who the dad of the girl, they didn't say the girl, the little nigga was that integrated to school, whose dad it was. And my dad and them said that as they stood around the board.
Okay, so she was just telling her personal story about desegregation. Let's get into the conversation. I want to hear what y'all got to say about it. So Ashley, what sparked you to ask this question? Because they've been talked about a lot. Like, and I've been in the middle about desegregation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I thought it had some. I thought some good things happen, and some bad things happen. Like being able to shop where you want to shop. I thought that was good, but you know, unfortunately, we started shopping. We stopped shopping with ourselves.
Yeah. The reason why I brought it up, and I just wanted to get other people's opinion about it. And this is something that you can ask Derek. I talk about all day. Just raising a black boy and a black little girl who's gonna one day grow up and be men and a man and a woman. I just think about just our history, so I can kind of be able to tell them where we come from and just be informed on it. But I'm so interested in it. It's like a hobby of mine. I sit at work all day doing my work and watching the way life was before segregation and during and after. So it's just an interest of mine that I always go into. And I just love to think about where our people began and where we are now. And it's very interesting to me to see really the young black men that's in that's coming up now. It's scary, one, just seeing them and how everything have changed. And one key identifying thing that I look at how
everything have
and
changed. And one key
Here,
identifier.
cut your phone off, bro.
I look at.
Yeah, go ahead.
yes, so I look at when we were slaves and we were in nothing but rags and we couldn't wear anything but what they gave us. And when we were free, what we started to do is we started to get dressed every day and made sure that we were always put together. But it seemed like that has declined, and now you see the kids outside with their Crocs on, you see them with their jogging pants hanging off their butt and stuff like that. So I'm like, where did we go wrong and losing that sense of pride and not understanding that our ancestors fought so hard for us to be able to get up and put on something that what we look presentable in. And here we are back in the rags. Here we are back looking slavely, if you ask me. So that's kind of what sparked my interest on it. And with me, my opinion on it, I really don't have a huge opinion on it. I do, but like you said, I'm in the middle of it. I think a lot of times when we talk about it, we think about segregation and our rights.
Y'all hear that noise?
I do. I hear it.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Interference.
Somebody actually, unless somebody's not on mute.
Maybe if everybody mute.
Terry, you got that phone? You got that extra phone on? You mute it.
It's not on.
Oh, you had a phone. Oh, there's something going on with your audio. Terry.
Maybe if he mute himself, if he mute, let's see if he mute.
Let me see. Yeah, it's something going on with you, Terry. I muted
Yeah,
you.
maybe just him muting the sound coming off of
I don't know what you did different when you came back, but your sound don't sound the same.
He good now.
But anyway, Terry, he does ironically, he does tours for Black Wall Street in Tulsa. he actually does tours for the old Black Wall Street, the one that they burned down in Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I'm pretty sure he can talk more about that, his experience. Terry, you
Can you still hear us, Lamar?
I still hear you, yeah.
Oh yeah, let me finish this statement, and
Go
then
ahead.
my stance on it with the was segregation a good thing or the bad thing? I think I sit like you. I sit in the middle. I feel like we could have had our rights, like our rights to vote and different other rights. But what was so wrong with us being in our own space? You know, being around each other and going to our own stores. What was so wrong with that? Did we really? What was so good about the stores that they were going to that we needed to go to? Why did we feel like we needed to fit in? I mean, to be in their spaces so bad. I think us as African Americans, we kind of have this thing where we just, and it comes from the slavery mentality. We just want what they have. Well, we really could have it with our own resources and
Yes.
stuff. Like even with Black Wall Street and all of that, we could have all of that stuff by ourselves. Now, of course, give us the right, like voting and everything else. But did we really need to desegregate? So I'm up in the air about it. I really don't know.
Yeah, I'm in the middle too. I think it's something that it has its good points and it has its bad points. I think when you're segregated, you have an ability and the grace to just be able to maintain like your own culture. So I think when we went through desegregation, even though it kind of freed us to be able to mingle and go wherever we wanted to, it also we lost the sense of who we are because we started blending with everybody else and taking on their, I guess you could say, ways, cultures, attributes, stuff like that. And so we lost a sense of who we are. So we don't. It's almost like anything goes. We don't have a. We're not set apart, if that makes sense.
Jermaine, what's up, man? He says seems like we were doing better doing segregation when we had our own. Yeah, we was, but here's my take on it is, yeah, we was doing better as far as being a tight knit group of people. But a lot of business wanted to expand. I'm thinking a lot of business wanted to expand and be able to sell to other people other than just yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because how's you gonna grow if you just got a certain amount of customers? You know, you can't grow. You want to be able to sell your goods and products to everybody. I'm thinking this was one of the things that they was looking at, like, you know, we went like integrating the schools. Like white schools had, you know, better things. They had the better things. They had the better teachers. I'm assuming, you know what I'm saying. So I guess I'm just giving you my point of view. Terry, come on and talk, man. You know what I'm saying? Unmute and talk.
They would probably have better resources. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's
say
all I'm
better
saying.
teachers, but
Definitely not better teachers.
yeah.
They didn't have better teachers. They did not have better teachers.
Hold on. Go out and come back in and see who that work, Terry. Because it seems like you sound like a monster on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. Not
yeah,
better
I agree
teachers,
with
but better
that. Also
resources.
with Terry. Yeah, I agree with Terry and Jennifer. I know you didn't mean it in no type of way, but I think that's a lot of times that's what people think of it. I know you didn't mean it in really no
No,
type of way.
I didn't mean better teachers. I mean like better resources. Like
Definitely better resources.
They getting better funding. And,
So that's what's separate but equal was all about.
I don't know what's going on with your I don't know what's going on with your
What about now? What about now? Maybe I'm too close to it. I don't know. What about now?
It sounds real bad. It sounds real bad. Then the first time when me and you talked, it sounded clear. When me and you was talking earlier, you said I don't know what you did since then.
Do you have earplugs in or buds?
No, I don't have buds. I'm just going straight to it.
Okay.
When I do Zoom calls,
But something going on with it, brother. I mean, I hear you, but you sound like.
Yeah, it sounds just muffled. Maybe if you go out and come back in, it'll probably fix it up.
He went on the camera. Yeah, so I went meaning like they had better
Yeah.
teachers. I'm just saying they had better resources, like you know what I'm saying, like books and stuff that we didn't have access to, unless we just wanted to know about us.
Exactly.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm with you, Lamar. I'm in the middle on it. I know segregation was a terrible, terrible thing, and the things that they did to us. But I also see it was some light in it. It just kind of like anything in our life, you know, we go through trials and tribulations, but it is some light in that trials and tribulation, a lesson coming out of it. So something coming out of it. So it's kind of like that's how I look at it. But I kind of see a lot more good than anything with the segregation, honestly.
So what did you see good about it?
I just us as a people, the pride that we had in ourselves.
So you
Yeah.
you talking about you saw good in segregation, not
I know where
desegregation.
she
Yes,
going.
and segregation. I seen some good. I see some good in the segregation. It's just the pride that we had in ourselves, who we were, the way we moved, how
Our
adamant we
identity.
were about going to school, about going to college, becoming this, becoming that, becoming a Delta, becoming an AKA, becoming lawyers. We just took so much pride in it. And just like when they wouldn't allow us to go to their resorts and stuff, we had Martha Vineyard. We went there and made that such a big thing, and that's where the elite, that's where they went and vacation and stuff. So we had what we needed, you know. So, and it's not like we were lacking anything, but I don't, I wasn't going through it back then. But I'll let Derek speak.
And this is where I came in, and this is where, just like you, Lamar, just like you, Jennifer, like it was like, all right, the segregation, you automatically think with segregation you're gonna attribute it to desegregation. And what my post was is I can understand that there was no fairness, no equal level playing field economically, socially, getting loans, starting a business where we actually absolutely had nothing, right?
Right.
And you couple that into Jim Crow, you couple that into Bull O'Connor and all those individuals that back then that preach hate. I'm not an advocate of hate, right? But like Ashley said, is we had more pride amongst ourselves internally when we were segregated, when you were following the principles of Medgar Evers and Malcolm X, right? As well as Martin Luther King. But a lot of that stuff got politicized. So once it got politicized, it turned to a whole nother deal. Is because if you go back and like research in between the antebellum years, right, the years right after slavery, leading up to that civil rights, we were literally superior as far as just economic growth. You can go back to when they lost their minds and Wall Street, when they were jumping out of buildings and everywhere else. Guess what we were doing? We were in those factories working with our hands, and we knew how to thug it out and struggle through it. Is because we just got finished with slavery. They had no idea what it's like to be. That was their closest thing of being like a black person, is when you strip the money away from them and it was on an equal playing field. So if you were in the South, that was the rise of the KKK and everything else that came with it, right? And that's where that desegregation line and segregation line came. But it was that Black Wall Street, that pride amongst us, not even just Black Wall Street. Look at Atlanta. Atlanta it still is industrious from a railroad standpoint.
Yeah.
Who you think built those railroads? We did. We built those railroads is because we came after that 1865, 1866, right? 1895, where we actually truly had our freedom. We went straight to work. Now, there's a good majority of us that couldn't still read grandparents wise, but those kids, they had the opportunity to read now. So that's where, Ashley, she did put a great point, because I didn't even look at it myself. Is we did take pride in our work. We took pride in education.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
We took pride in everything that we did. Family. Family dynamic was so much important. It was number one priority. And then you look at today, where everything that's publicized now is to be separatist. Do it on your own.
Yeah, because we do it as a family, as our immediate family. I remember growing up, and Lamar can attest to this, even going to his mom's house on Sunday. That's what they did
Yeah.
during segregation.
Yeah.
We went there to have dinner on Sundays. We go to church, go have dinner on Sundays.
But let me ask you something. If we still do that. Why? How can some people still hold those values and some can't? I mean,
because
just because of
I want to say like
desegregation
average
didn't kill
like
that.
average.
You know what I'm saying? I think we as a whole, we made a conscious decision to do that. I mean, like nothing is stopping them from shopping with black businesses now.
Oh no, but then we got to think about if I'm spending this good green money, I want some black. I want some good quality service that's coming along with it. And I shop black, and I'm not saying that nobody black and black businesses don't have good customer service and this that and the other, because they do. But a lot of times stuff is just not together in those spaces. But do we try? Of course we try.
Yeah, I agree with that. We do attempt, like I said, we buy black.
Yeah.
We
So
attribute, we attributed to try to really invest inside the community. But Lamar, you and your family is something, sadly enough, is different. And you may not be when you was growing up. Everybody had Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
If you look at it now, how many people even know how to cook? Let alone, I'm not talking about like go out there to go get some. I'm talking about like actually cook like your mother or your grandmother did, to where that stuff is passed down generation to generation. When you with your grandma, they're gonna ask you a couple things. How everything going, baby? How's school going?
yeah.
How's such and such coming?
So cooking is the surface, but throughout that, you learning something. You get in some type of lessons and stuff when you in the kitchen with grandma, or y'all everybody go to church together and everybody come home and eat dinner
This is
together on
what they'll say.
Sunday.
This is what they'll say about the food and the cooking. It's not healthy. The food is not healthy now.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why they're not cooking. That's the answer you will get to that. Why they're not doing it. That's what society has become. But here's the thing, though. If you go all the way back before any of us, in '64 is when the Civil Rights Bill was passed. I was 1 year old, right? Y'all probably wasn't even born. Robert might have been 1 or 2 or 3.
In what year?
64.
God dog, bro, don't make me that old, man.
So this is before any of us really knew anything. Like in my research, but go back another 30 years before that, y'all talked about it early during the Great Depression when those white folks was killing themselves, right? And Negroes, we were still yet living, right? We had it good. We had it real good, right? Because the money trickled down, right? And we worked in this, most of us worked in the service industries. And oftentimes we had our doctors, our lawyers, we had those things, right? But here come a president by the name of Roosevelt, Franklin D. Roosevelt. He signed a thing called the New Deal, right? That brought Social Security, that brought socialism into it, that brought welfare into it, that brought that block of cheese, that ham. You hear people talk about, commodities, right? Okay, here's the thing. By the time the 50s come, our Negroes that wasn't living like the rest of us was living, we was living good. So those preachers, they begin to say, hey, our folks that's downtrodden, they not getting nothing, right? They went to the government, they not getting nothing, but y'all giving all these welfare to the whites. It was for them. It wasn't for us, because we was living all right. We were, right? For me and my family, like my daddy was a bellhop, a bell captain, a concierge, right? We lived upper middle class off of tips, but we lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma, though, which was the oil capital of the world. And of course, you know about Greenwood and Black Wall Street. Auburn Street was Black Wall Street in Atlanta. It was just that Tulsa was just so affluent with the money and the oil. That's all that was. Every city had what they would consider a Black Wall Street, right? So us Negroes, we start saying, hey, we need something. Let's be separate but equal. Let's give us our just due to our downtrodden, Negroes that ain't having nothing. The fight was for them. Because Dr. King was living good as preachers, right? Most people was living good, but it was those that didn't have nothing. But we want what them white folks is getting over there. We want that block of cheese. We want that Spam. We want that pound of milk and pound of eggs. All that y'all can give us, we would take it. And then they came up with a plan with that. and said, we're going to stick this to them all the way. Dr. King even said, I have led my people to a burning building. It wasn't a good thing to desegregate. It just wasn't. Right now, look what we got now. You talked about it earlier, young lady. You mentioned how the clothes we wear, everybody, that's society in the whole. Because during that era, everybody wore suits. Everybody wore, sport jackets, whites and blacks. But now, everybody want, everybody, if you ain't business casual on a job, you ain't wearing that. But it was a time when everybody wore slacks, suit coat, everything. But it changed, to have equality. We wanted the same books that the white kids was reading out of. In our hospital, we wanted the same, because in our neighborhoods, in our community, we had hospitals. We don't have that anymore. But because we couldn't get, the things that was needed. We need, like for me, my brothers and sisters, they was born in a hospital called Moulton, right off Pine Street in Greenwood. By the time 63 came, we as blacks, we were able to go to other hospitals. And I was born in another hospital. I wasn't born in Moulton, right? All black hospital. But what they had in there, our doctors was just as good, right? No matter what. But the equipment and things to really service the people, we didn't have it. That's all it was about, good and services, right? That was the thing. It was just good and services. And so even being desegregated, it was really by choice, right? We was excluded and we wasn't included. And that's why we prospered so much, because we had to go next door and buy.
Had no other choice.
Had no other choice, right? And it's, I get asked all the time, what would it be like if we didn't have that? If it wasn't, we don't know.
In today's time?
Yeah.
In today's time?
Yeah, because like if we went back to separate but equal, we don't own property anymore. That land that we used to own, we don't own it. It's gone. The power is in the land.
But that is 100% true. But I think that's a little different. And you all can correct me if I'm wrong. You can disagree or agree. I feel like that's rights that's being taken away. That's not really segregation. That's right. When I think of segregation, I think of redlining when you talk about land and houses. Right. But when we talk about not being able to own, that's just being beneath them. But segregation say, oh, I can't live over here and you can't live over here. But I feel like that's two different things. I think and I kind of think that's what we get mixed up at when we think about the rights that we have and being segregated from the other people that have the same rights that we have.
So that's the thing. See, we weren't able to live in our civil liberties, right? That's real freedom. Liberty is freedom, right? And that's civil liberties. What we always cry about is civil rights. And so our civil rights are that because we ain't living in our civil liberties. That's why we fought so hard. We call it civil rights. But our liberties is what, okay, you remember when COVID happened and people were wearing masks and some of the people was like, you taking my liberties away. I don't have to wear, you know what I mean? White folks understood that liberty of it, being free, right? But we look at it as civil rights, right? It's about civil liberties. It's about being able to live free, right? That's the main thing, that we can live free.
I can live free in my own area with the other black folks around me. I'm okay with it.
All right, we were doing that. We really were, right? But back to the point where our downtrodden wasn't happening. That's just human nature, to take care of the next person that's not doing as well as you are.
Yeah.
And so we relied on the government to come in and dictate our lives.
Stanford, welcome to the live, man. We're talking about desegregation right now, the effect it had on the black community. Has it helped or hurt us, and how?
Okay, my first question is that desegregation is the effect of, when it comes to black people segregating from white people, or do you mean
being like pretty much being integrated into white society? What I'm talking about, like you know, you can go here.
Well,
You can shop where you want. You can buy where you want to buy. You can shop where you want to shop. You know what I'm saying?
okay. Well,
That
the segregation, as far as when it comes down to early 1900s, 50s, 60s, 70s, segregation worked well for the people, black people, when it comes down to the family
Yes.
construct. Okay, it worked well there. Now, my question to you or whoever else want to answer is to anybody else is what country, what city, not city, but what country or empire, whatever you want to call them, did well with this segregation? We are all intertwined in some kind of way with trade and all this other stuff, right? We are
yeah,
all intertwined that way. So when that happens, these different cultures tend to come into another culture's, way of living. And things tend to change. So the segregation is not has its benefits, but it also has its disadvantages too.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be careful with that, in my opinion. And we have to make sure that we understand what is it that we have to desegregate from. Black people need to understand that our plight with family and drug, whatever issues that we have are different from any other cultures. So yes, we can desegregate that part because if there's no unity between the quote Malcolm X, if there's no unity between the black people, how can there be any unity between anybody else and us? You get what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but when it comes down to trade and finances and economic growth and everything, desegregation would have an issue. Look at what Haiti has done with Dominican Republic. They have also desegregated themselves in a way, right? And now Haiti, on even though it's on the same island as the Dominican Republic, is one of the poorest nations on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all these other poor countries, Honduras and all this other stuff, whatever. They desegregated themselves. They want their own government, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to be careful with this. You have to not make certain types of enemies. When I read this question, I hear
now
it's a
you talking
loaded
about
question. It's a
you
loaded
are you
question.
meaning segregation or
Yes.
Yeah,
desegregation?
because you said
Yes.
Because
You're saying
segregation
I'm
is
saying
in when
both.
you separate yourself from people,
I'm
right?
right.
saying both. Desegregation is what?
separate.
When you
When you're
Come
when
separate.
together.
you're come together, when it's integrated, like you use the word integrated,
Well,
segregate
integrate is not
when you are
desegregation.
separated.
How you doing, Pastor?
Hey, sir, what's going on?
Yeah, but
Great,
I
great.
understood exactly what he was saying. I didn't know if you want to. Yeah, I
Yeah,
understood exactly.
I concur. Right. When you, like I said before he had got on, is when you start to get into the economics of it
Mm.
from a world trade standpoint, or even from in here in the United States, which is supposed to be the number one, right? A lot of that had to do, if you run it back to Malcolm X in the times of civil rights, right? They went straight to um, trying to go to the international community for help, right? It's because there was so much downtrodden and it wasn't fair economically, right? The rights
Yeah,
were not
exactly.
Okay,
fair.
I see what you're saying.
But what we're also saying, is the other side of that was, like you said, family values were lost in the midst of and what it is now. Pride in oneself, as far as what your name is and where you came from, seems to have taken a downslide, right? And that's where Ashley posed the question of, is segregation, right? What's the other side of it?
Yeah.
We lost a lot. We lost a lot of how we carried ourselves, the pride we have amongst ourselves.
And everything we lost, is it because of? I think my main question is, everything that we did lose, is it because of us and not continue to take pride in it, or is it because of the desegregation? Did that split us up?
I think
What?
that to answer your question, it's a combination of both.
Okay.
So also
Black people, black
when we
people. Okay, go ahead. Sir.
when we desegregated, they made us become bigger consumers. We are more consumers now because we desegregated. We didn't really give ourselves a chance to have trade when we were segregated, right? With because there was a structure, there was a hold on us, there was a power structure that had us held down, right? And we were trying to come up out of it. By the time we tried to come up out of it, here come the desegregation part of it. And then we became bigger consumers than anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We spend more than anybody, right? The money is there, but we didn't give ourselves chance because of the power structure. Now the power structure is so corporate, mom and pops, people give money, they getting money, they taking care of their family, they building some wealth, right? But I understand what you're saying as far as having major world trade, like, hey, it just like where I'm from, Muskogee Creek Nation. They're trying to build world trade. You know what I'm saying? And so it's different. We didn't give ourselves the chance to build world trade when we were segregated. You know what I mean? That makes sense.
yeah.
Pastor
The
Osa
problem with
Reeves, welcome to the
desegregation,
live.
desegregation is that black people tend to, I ain't gonna say black people, I'm gonna say all people tend to adapt the cultures and of every other person of the other race. We know
Yeah.
that we know that our way, at least I believe so, that our way is the best in my opinion.
Yeah,
That's
me too.
just, I mean,
That's
I'm
just
not trying to be
my
biased
opinion
either.
too.
Let's go right out and say it, huh?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that.
Repeat that again. Something was playing in my ear. Repeat that again. What did you say?
What I'm saying is that this is what I'm saying is that desegregation hurts black people because black people, for some reason, we adapt the cultures and everything from we adapt certain things and beliefs from other cultures. Look at the feminist movement. That wasn't a black thing. It was a white woman
There
thing,
was a white, yep, woman suffrage was a white woman thing. We
and
just,
we
yep,
sat there and adapted that,
yep, we
and it
adapted
hurts
with
us.
that and all of our.
It
That's
hurts
what,
us.
yep, yep.
We
That is.
adapted that. Black people, we know that our way of doing things is the best way of doing things because we are. I don't care what you know what? I believe that we are those chosen people.
Yep.
So if we are those chosen people should be following us. Hell, look at us. Look throughout the world. The Moors built Europe. They built them. But that's a secret.
This,
But that's a secret, though. And if you're not educated, you'll never know.
yeah, this
That
not an
it's
hour
not a
conversation.
secret. It's just that they don't want us. It's not a secret. It's called indoctrination. We have
Yeah,
been indoctrinated in a culture for so long. We accept that. Like for me, I eat the fish and spit out the bones when it comes to history. You know
Gotcha.
what I mean?
yeah.
Like check how dark I am, right? So my grandmother was Muskogee Creek Indian, dark as I am, and was listed full blooded, right? So I'm a Muskogee Creek Indian by blood and everything. So I'm a sovereign citizen and everything of the Muskogee Creek Nation. But it's indoctrination, man. We have been indoctrinated. People would think you crazy because you talk about some Moors, right? Built Europe, right? Well, we know that's true, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, we know that's true. They don't want us because of indoctrination. We just don't believe it. We won't
So this,
accept it.
when I say the secret, I'm not talking about the secret is to black people. The secret is to them.
Let
That's
me let
true
me get
too.
let me get let me
Now,
get let me get
now when
Pastor
I go,
Reed in for a
let me
second.
say, I gotta say this one thing though. Let
Go
me say this
ahead.
one thing though, Robin, before you continue. Is that yes, the secret is not to us. It's to them. It's a secret to them. The ones that know, the ones that taught them that that's what is something else. That's the secret.
Mm-hmm.
Our issue is what we're not educated enough to know that we're the reasons why things are the way a lot of things are when it comes to that.
And when we're taught, we don't. A lot of us don't want to believe it.
We don't. Yes, exactly. You know why? Because we have indoctrinated the money first
Mm-hmm.
culture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at our churches. Look at them. 99% of them, 90% of them are running around here trying to get money all the goddamn time. And it's crazy to me. Tithes ain't just money. Tithes is something else.
We got a pastor on here might want to respond to that. Well, Pastor, the question we in question there is the effect desegregation has had on the black community. Has it helped or hurt us, and how? That's the question.
I would say help and hurt. As I heard the gentleman speaking earlier, it's important that we stick to our roots and know our
There you
culture.
go.
And
There you go.
oftentimes we change our culture based upon what we see other cultures doing. And what's so crazy, a lot of them want to be like us. And that's mind blowing. But then we want to be European to some degree. And so I think at the end of the day, it starts at home. And I believe, from
Yes.
a desegregation standpoint, uh, let me say it from a pastoral standpoint. I believe we all need each other, and I think each race has something to offer, but that don't mean we stop being who we are and try to be like another race, or vice versa. So I'm with it. I teach my kids, hey, you want to always know your roots, and it's good to have the black experience, but that ain't how the world is. You got to be able to go out there and compete with people that don't look like you, and so I just try to share with them, stay who you are, and make sure while you're staying who you are, don't forget who you are.
Yeah, and I kind of want to just touch on that when we think when we're talking about desegregation. I know we kind of touched a lot on the financial aspect of it and economic aspect of it, but when I think about the social standing of it, and just when I heard someone make the statement, and I've been thinking about it ever since. And I apologize if anybody is married to outside of their race on this call. But I'm kind of like Dr. Umar with it. You marry your own. And I know my kids gonna do what they gonna do, but I feel like I said, I'm Dr. Umar with it. You marry your own. You continue to produce beautiful black people in this world, and you continue on this culture and this race. And I heard someone say that's what kind of messed up the black family, because when our elite and outstanding black men, when they got money, when they became doctors, they became lawyers, they went and married white women. So we were kind of, the black women were kind of in search for the man that is going to do right, that's going to do good, but a lot of them are
So
statistics
so you
show us that
so
a lot of
so
them,
you so you think without desegregation that when black men wouldn't be marrying white women and vice versa? You
I
think
think
that wouldn't be happening
I
as
think
much
it's
as it?
somewhat true, and I know we can't help who we love, but I think it's somewhat true, and I think that started in a household. I put it in my kids every day to love who they are, and I can't choose what college they go to, but I make my son do studies on Morehouse so he can see the type of men that come out of there. I make my daughter, I put my son in places and make him read and research things so he can hold on to his culture, because I'll be honest, we don't live in inner city where I grew up at that's surrounding black people. So I kind of, I don't know that they'll get their culture how I got it in the substance that I got it. So we kind of try to teach it in the household. But with him going to school with Asians, Caucasians, those are the type of girls he sees. So is that what he's going to be interested in? So I kind of try to help him understand who we are as a culture. You understand what I'm saying? So did that break up the household, the black family? Black men, our elite black men going to marry white women? And like I
So
said,
what?
if you're
So
married
what's
to
your
anybody else,
stance on that? Then, if he falls in love with a white girl, so when you
no,
against that?
I love my son and I would accept him, because it's nothing on God's green earth that's going to tear me apart from him. And we're not here forever. So I don't want that to be the
Yeah,
only thing that he have with me. But am I recommending that he go marry your sister? Definitely.
yeah, because I don't think he loses. I don't think he loses blackness because he married a white woman.
But his
You know.
kids don't carry that culture over. So we don't continue that culture. Look at Michael Jackson family. You can't tell that started with a black man and a black woman. Their family is white, so they have lost the Jackson. They have lost that. I don't care what you say.
I don't
Those are
know.
white people now.
Joe Jackson beating their ass. That I don't know about that one.
No, I'm just saying. But if you look
Hey,
at that,
hey,
okay, look
Robert,
at Tia and Tamara.
can I chime in on that?
Go ahead,
You
Okay,
know,
go ahead,
a
Pastor.
couple of
I am
things I
gonna say,
want to
look at
chime
Okay.
in too
Lionel
with
Richie.
too,
Look
though.
at
Just
Sophia
Well,
Richie.
you know.
well,
The
let me
white
say
women.
this. My son, I'm straight out of Adamville. I married a black girl. She from Douglas High. I got 3 daughters and a son, and so my son, based upon his love for football, ended up being at a predominantly white school, and
Mm-hmm.
so I've learned, I can't make his choices for him, but I think at the end of the day, you gonna love who he love. You just want him to make a good choice, and I say
Of course.
sometimes even like now he's at a predominantly white school, and so I I don't see color. I'm not a racist or whatnot. And I met, and he's the type of guy that if he gonna be serious, he's gonna be serious. He ain't into womanizing and all that, which I've taught him. And so I think for the most part, if he love her, I love her, and that's how I roll. I'm not, now my daughters, they may be a little different from a standpoint. Hey, bro, we don't want, but at the same time, I said, I told them that you can't choose your brother's wife. You just can't.
No,
It
that's
is.
100% true. But I got to stand firm on um we have a lot of times, and like I said, we see it just the example with Michael Jackson family. You'll never be able to see with his great grandkids and his great great grandkids that they came from two people that look like me and my husband. And a lot of us are getting lost in that way. It's sad to say, and sometimes it may not matter, and nobody on this call can be racist because we're marginalized people. That's a whole nother subject for a different day.
We
But
can't be racist. We cannot be racist.
you cannot be racist as a black person. We're the minorities. We're marginalized. We're
No way.
marginalized people. But I am going to say that when I look at that, and when I look at my son, and like you said, my son is the same way with your boy probably playing D1's ball. He That's what he's around. And like I said, my son, he just went to a school for the last 3 years where he was literally the only little black boy in his class. So I wouldn't be surprised if he go and marry somebody that does not look like his mother. But I'm going to do everything in my power, being who I am and how pro-black I am, to feed him that black women
So,
is the
so,
best
so, let, so
thing.
let me ask you a question about that, okay? Let me ask you, and this would, I find to be a little bit trivial, okay?
Hmm.
It's simple, but you know, all right then. Are you saying that the black culture is trash?
No.
Because listen to what I'm saying. Let me explain what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: is that if he has a black father, he has a black mother,
Hmm.
black siblings, black relatives, and he still goes out there and find a white chick,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
What is the issue with what is the cause of that? Is it because of the fact that black culture has pretty much as far as when it comes down to the young people, we know better. We're older.
Yeah.
When it
What?
comes to the young people, okay, listen to what I'm saying. When it comes to the young people, they see things online, they see things on the internet, YouTube, and everything else like that, whatever, and they look for certain things
Hmm.
that makes them popular and stuff like that. How many black images do you know is promoted in a positive manner, in a positive way? I don't see a lot of them. I see a lot of because we got to look at the times and where we in. The
Hmm.
times that we'll be in is it's a social media, internet type time. Hell, we on it right now.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
with that being said, right? With that
Hmm.
being said, what promotion is being done? What's being pushed as far as when it comes to the black, as far as it comes to African American people?
Now,
So
What's being
What's being
pushed?
pushed?
I
This is
don't
what's
see a
being
lot of
pause,
it.
pushed.
pause right there for a second, cause this we're gonna put the second half of the question in, and I got this question from Pastor himself from being on his page. I got the first question from Ashley on her page, so I'll be on y'all page rumbling around. So the next question is what happened to the 2-parent homes in black communities? Has it Has it had a lasting effect on us, and how? I'm gonna play a little short video, y'all. I like playing
Lamar,
videos kind of leading to
can
it.
I say this, Lamar?
Go
I'm gonna
ahead,
say
go
one
ahead.
thing. And my kids, we on a strict bedtime. You know, I'm a soldier here, so we got to get them in bed. So we
Good for
gonna cut off.
you.
We're gonna cut off here in a second, but I do want to answer his question. I don't want to leave her hanging, but we're gonna have to go because we got to get this house shut down. But I am gonna say this: I feel like the environment that we place our kids in, when we want to get them out of the inner city and put them in better places so their electives can look like computer science. Because my son came home with a program, with his schedule that looked like computer science. I know he would have never got that at Harper Middle School where I went. You understand what I'm saying? So when we take them out of our inner city schools where we grew up at, but we kind of where our superintendent in APS was rooted in Blackness, and we were able to learn all of that stuff and be great. And we take them out of that school system that's not so much like that anymore and put them over here. My son goes to the Mill Creek cluster, number 15 school in the state of Georgia. He's not able, he don't see what I seen on a daily basis go to school. I never was interested in anything else that outside of my dad, Lamar. You know what I mean? A man that looked like him, because that's all that I knew. So that, I don't think that we are trash. I think when we grow up and the inner city have went down so bad, but we go to school, we get our degrees, we get our good money, we move out of it so our kids can be raised in a different way so they can do
Okay,
better.
Robert, let me give me 2 minutes. Okay. All right. And she said a lot, and guess what? I agree with everything she literally just said. I do. Okay. Just so you know that I do agree with it.
Oh no,
My
go ahead.
my point was this though, and I was leading to this, is
Okay.
that that's why I said culture. Okay, that's why I said culture. It's because of the fact that yes, you and your household did this, and even I, my household does that. Robert and his household might have done something else, and whoever else done something else, right? The thing is that we don't have enough of it.
That's true.
That's true.
We
That's
just
very
don't
much.
have enough of it.
Yeah.
So if we know what the problem is and we know the solution, why is it that the ones, I want to say the ones, I mean the ones that know, elders, even the people who's more experienced, why isn't that pushed enough? When I look online, I see a lot of stuff online that's pushed by our own people
I think the
in
reason
all
why is
ages.
I think the reason why it's going to be the next question, because of the black father has left the
Have
home.
left home in order for their children to get meat and bread. There are so many dehumanizing elements in the welfare system that we are concerned about removing. Ultimately, we are concerned about a guaranteed annual income. And the other thing I think it is very necessary to say is that everybody's on welfare in this country. And when it comes to black people and poor people, we just call it something else. When it's for white people and rich, we call it subsidies.
It's no secret, fatherless households are more common in the Black community. A survey from the American Consensus Institution revealed that 67% of Black children under 18 in the US live in homes without fathers. This is a stark contrast to white children, as only 24% of them live in fatherless homes. But it wasn't always like that. The Black families survived generations of open racism, widespread poverty, and slavery. They lived through segregation and violence, and strong family bonds used to be the norm.
As of 1960, 2/3 of all Black American children were living with both parents. That declined over the years until only 1/3 were living with both parents in 1995. So it's not the legacy of slavery that destroys the African American family.
It's the legacy of the welfare state.
Between 1890 and 1950, the marriage rate was much higher among Black women than white women. A fraction of Black children lived in homes without their fathers. But everything changed with the expansion of the welfare state. It divided the household and created a dependency on welfare. This kind of reminds me of what President Reagan said.
I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
So, what happened? What's the mechanism? Here is a detailed look at how the welfare state played a role in the dissolving of the family structure over the years. People say that the breakdown of traditional family units, family structures, is a byproduct of Black poverty, not just because there is no man to support the family financially, but also because women tend to earn less than men on average. Of course, the connection between the two is there, but it goes deeper than that. Welfare was a mean little business. It was designed to get people by in a pinch. Public assistance programs, like welfare entitlements, have been a part of American culture since the 1940s. Unfortunately, like in many other aspects of government institutions, Black Americans were left out. In time, Black people could also get financial support, but it wasn't easy. Mothers who applied for checks had to let social workers inspect their homes to see if their conditions were suitable for welfare. These workers also had to make sure no man was living in the house. But even if they qualified for support, the amount they received was meager and not enough to build a stable life. In the early 1960s, welfare was not yet common, even in the most impoverished Black communities. In the decade that followed, the number of Black people on welfare went up by 169%. They further increased by 30% from 1970 to 1975. In 1972, New York City, almost 1 out of every 6 residents was on welfare. A major portion of these households were Black. Although Black people were only around a tenth of all Americans, they made up almost 50% of all welfare recipients by the late 70s. A recent UNICEF report showed that many children under 18 in America struggle financially, and African American children are nearly 4 times more likely to be in poverty than white children. Though the number of families receiving cash assistance has decreased since 1996, child poverty rates for Black children in the US remain high. This outcome is not by accident. I studied the evolution of social welfare policies in the US from the New Deal to the 1996 reforms and found that these policies have been discriminatory from the start. And a lot of people can confess to that. This led many Black families to fall into cultural and economic ruin. In a short period, healthy Black people started relying on government assistance to achieve some level of normalcy. But within the city slums, that normalcy was impossible to get. Black children barely knew their fathers, and most were raised by unemployed and unmarried mothers.
Okay, so
Bring similar tabs.
what are y'all thoughts on that right there? So,
Well, I mentioned the New Deal. The New Deal changed everything. It was welfare wasn't for us; it was for whites. But we've been indoctrinated into it. That's all we know. That ain't all we know, but that's what we care to use.
So was that the beginning of the end of the Black family, the welfare system? Because it didn't allow for the Black men to stay in the home.
Well, I mean, it wasn't should have been used as a permanent tool, right? We didn't, we steps it as a permanent tool as a way of life to get by, to grocery shop, to from food stamps to, I don't know if women today still get a welfare check. I don't know. I guess they do, but I don't know any that does, right? Myself, but I'm sure that they do. But
Yeah,
that
there are
destroyed
women
it.
who do. Hmm.
It is. I'm sure it is. I just don't know any. When I was younger, I might have knew. When I was in my teens and 20s, I might have knew. But right now, I don't know. Because
What happened
that's not
to
my
answer the
situation.
question? What happened to the parent to 2 parent homes in the Black community is I think it's not a complicated answer to that. Okay, I think that there's two caveats. There's 2 things to that. One is, you know men have to accept responsibility if they leave and not take care of their what's going on in that household. And 2 is women can be influenced by what makes them comfortable. In other words, if if a man is not doing his job financially, right? A lot of times, and most of the times, not every time, but a lot of times, the woman's going to seek other means to make themselves comfortable and their children comfortable. If the man is not doing anything, he ain't worth a damn. He gonna be what? He gonna be compliant with what he gets from the government. So I sort of do agree with what Reagan said, even though I don't agree with the Reaganomics and all the other stuff. But I do agree with that statement because that is true. We have to understand that we put a lot of things, especially black men, we put a lot of things on our black women when it comes down to accountability. We also have to be just as accountable. We understand it. We know what it is, and we are easier to to go in that direction. We once a motherfucker tell us, listen, blah 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 blah. We go, okay, I got it. And they come to women sometimes, and it's not as that easy. But we have to also accept the fact that we have a role to play in that also. Now, with that being said, opportunity for growth, opportunity for the economic things and stuff to make things better has to be, because we are where we are in this world. Uh, it's difficult, right? Very much so difficult. So I don't look down on the people who can't make a certain amount of money, because I know how difficult it is. 'Cause I'm in corporate America myself, right? But we have to be able to understand that we have to hold those that are and have the opportunities and able bodies to do better as men. Now, if they're not doing it and living on a woman, and then sit there and say, well, you're supposed to do this because you are a woman, that's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? We have to hold those brothers accountable. Unfortunately, the way things are, uh, it's almost, in my opinion, it's only my opinion. I don't know how factual it is or not. It's almost like 50-50. You got brothers out here gonna work their ass off, who gonna do what they gotta do, and most likely, guess what? I really believe that most black women, if she has a man that is a woman, or I mean not a man, but I mean not a woman, but a husband, and he's taking care of his things. He ain't got to be the richest dude in the world. He ain't got to be the second richest, third richest, 100th richest person in the world. If he's doing what he got to do, she gonna be there for him. That's my opinion. But if he ain't shit and he's sleeping on her couch, she gonna move on. And what the government has done is sat there and exploited that discrepancy within us. That I think that's what they did. They realized that. That's why those white people was able to come there and say, "Well, how many? What man is here? Who's done this? What's done that?" They gather that data and they come with something to make it where black men aren't in the home, starting in the '70s. Actually, that's just my opinion, man. I think that we are in control of our own culture. We can't have nobody else. If you ain't black, you can't speak on the black experience. If you ain't black, you cannot tell a black person how to be black and what it is to be black, what it is to be black. That's just my opinion. And we can't sit there. I mean, we are all God's children, yes. But unfortunately, even in the Bible, there are different what? Not rate, I would say different cultures within the Bible itself.
Right.
Some were destroyed and some were living. Some weren't destroyed. And that's the end of it. Now, which one is right? I don't know. I just don't know. But I'm leaning towards mine because of the fact that in the Bible, we are who we are. And there's different things inside, in there that will explain certain things, that will validate what I'm saying without going into too much depth with it. That's just my opinion, man. We have
All right,
we have
Pastor,
to
you
have
want
the
to elaborate on
accountability
that?
with blacks. We have the kind of accountability with women, men and women.
Right.
Women have the role. What their role is, they have to accept it, and men have the role in which they accept it. But I also have to look at the fact that the way society is, because of where we are placed and where we are, I have to take that in consideration also. I think that's done by design.
So
I really do.
what's your thought on this, Pastor? Because I got this question off your page. So
Okay. I'm with my brother. The last part he says, a lot of it is done by design. But when I was actually posting it, I was just thinking about the importance of it because a father needs to be in the home. He plays a very important role in nurturing his sons and daughters. And oftentimes, for whatever reason, I know people get divorces for whatever reasons, but I say it like this: because you didn't see it, don't mean you can't be it. I didn't
Correct.
grow up with I didn't grow up with
Correct.
a father, and so I made it my business to make sure that I modeled away for my son and modeled away for my daughters and having a father. And I just oftentimes wonder how life would have been if a father would have been in my house. And true enough, God graced my mother to raise me, but it's nothing like the presence of a man being in the house. And often I hear my daughter say, man, our lives are different, Dad, because you're here. Because they got girlfriends, and they hear their daddy horror stories, and my son, he really looks up to me. And so as a man, we just got to model the way. And so when that two-parent household is not in effect, man, it leaves holes, it leaves scars, it tears up that young person in so many ways. And I didn't get my healing as a man until my kids came in my life, you know. And so as I began to be the father to them, then that's when my healing process. Yes, I got totally healed, and I made up my mind that my mama would always. I heard her 2 or 3 times say, don't be like your daddy. So I didn't even really want to find out what that was about. So I just made it my business to make sure that, hey, I modeled away for my kids and make sure as a wife, choosing a wife, that I chose someone that I know that, hey, they're gonna ride or die with me. And so it's just so many dynamics to this question too. It's crazy because we can go back to the system. The system has jacked us up in so many ways. And
Yeah.
so but I was speaking from the part of nurturing and modeling and pouring into, and even as the brother said, that accountability piece is so key, man. We
Yes.
even got to hold other men accountable because we got homeboys we know they don't do right by their kids and they not even there. And because you're not present, that mean that you cannot be a great father. Because I know some fathers that are not in the home, but they are great fathers. And sometimes, as my brother said, a woman go off on a man. He said, "Well, I'm done with you and him, you and the kids." And they just going about their business, and they just kill the whole vibe when it comes to a family.
Well, Pastor,
Mm.
Stanford, anybody, how do you hold another man accountable? Like, I mean, how
Oh,
do you
oh,
approach a
oh, oh.
man? How do you approach another man and hold him in check? I mean,
Okay.
without being disrespectful or
Okay.
without having to get into some more stuff.
In my opinion, I'm gonna be honest with you. Tell them the truth.
Exactly.
That's it. Just tell them
Yeah.
the truth.
Tell them the truth. Yeah.
Tell them the truth.
Especially if
But
it's
That's
in
it.
your
then,
circle.
but
Especially if
but
it's
then
other
I'll
guys in your
ask.
circle.
We say TB.
I
Exactly.
say,
I would say
especially if
this
the other
too.
guys.
I would say this.
He said, especially if the
But
guys
I
in
would
your
say this
circle.
too.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if it's guys in the circle. But I would add, Robert, I do a lot of marriage counseling. And I asked that brother and I asked that young lady, I said, is there anybody in your life that if your husband went acting crazy, can you call that individual to check him and vice versa? And if a man is unaccountable, he's a dangerous man. If I don't have nobody in my life, I went acting a fool on my wife, that means I'm unaccountable. And
That's
so I
right.
want to have
That's
men in
right.
my life that say, hey, Reese, your wife called me, bro. You're acting a fool, man. And I ain't gonna go off on her. I think one, I'm gonna be thankful that I got men around me that's gonna check me, man. And so my son said this to me, Seth. He didn't say it in a negative way. He said, I fear God and I fear you. And so my thing, whoever you marry, it goes back to the father. Whoever you marry, that sister or whoever you marry should be able to call me and say, your son is acting a fool. And I'm like, dude, I ain't raised you like that. And so it goes back to the father. It still goes back to the father.
Yeah, but you know what?
Yes.
When you said that you have a homeboy like that, whatever, and I get what you're saying, but it has to be a homeboy though,
Yeah, exactly.
because you know how men, we are very, we are hunters. And one thing is too, we're very prideful,
Yep.
and we don't want no man telling us something like that. I know I wouldn't.
exactly.
Yeah, so
exactly.
that's what I'm saying. So
So so so
it
so
has to
so
be a
so
guy who
so what
is
I'm saying is
poured
that what
into
I'm
you or
saying is
something.
that we have to have the emotional intelligence to
Yep.
listen to our women at times.
Yep.
Just like our women have to have the same emotional intelligence. I think their emotional intelligence is much more stronger than ours. You know, we're more black and white. We're factual based. You know, what, where, how, and whatever. And I get that, and that's how the world ticks and everything. But if your woman is going to your homeboy saying something about, he's doing this and he's doing that, there's a tad bit in me to this day. I'm gonna sit here and be like, what the fuck you going to my homeboy saying that for? That's me. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
And
it got to be
you know
somebody you
what?
respect.
And I'm gonna be honest with
Yeah.
you. I'm gonna be like, yo, I don't
It
know if
gotta
this
be
gonna work.
somebody you really respect.
Yeah,
You
you
know what
got
I'm
to be
Yeah,
somebody you
saying?
respect. And I
I
know for
mean,
me though,
really respect. I mean,
yeah, I know for
extremely.
me, all my boys, we tight like that. You know, we
Well, I
tight
ain't like
like
that
that.
with all my boys.
Yeah, we tight. My boys, they done been in my life like 30,
Yeah,
30 to 40 years.
And
Yeah,
let
all
me
my
chime
homeboys
in.
been all my homeboys been in my life
yeah,
about
yeah.
30 to
I don't
40
want nobody
years.
knowing about my marriage.
Let,
Let me
Crazy.
chime
let's get a
in.
woman's perspective.
A woman is not going to go to her man's husband friend if he's not a quality friend, and she's
Exactly.
going to know if
Exactly.
that's, you know what I'm saying. So yeah,
Yep.
we ain't gonna go to the, whatever. We're gonna
Yeah.
go to the
She
one that we
gonna go to
know.
somebody that she really got a respect for. Yeah.
And
Yes,
you know what?
She
I
gonna go to
understand what
somebody
you're
that
saying.
she
I
know
understand
you
what
has
both
a
of y'all
respect
saying.
for, right?
absolutely.
I understand what
Yes.
you're both saying, but I understand what you're both saying. I
Yeah.
promise you I do. And I get it. I really do get it. It's just that it's rare.
Yeah. It's rare.
And that's why my circle is very small. Like extremely.
Mhm.
Like it's like two people.
Hey,
You
that's
understand what I'm
not
saying?
that's that's not even a circle. That's a triangle.
Yeah, whatever. No, triangle
We
has
can't
two
even call it a
parts.
circle no more.
No, that's a straight line. That's A and B.
What about this?
Triangle have three
What about
points.
this? What about this
So it's
scenario
that's
here?
very
Terry,
small
That's
there.
not a bad thing, Stanford. I
Terry, your
promise
Uh,
you.
It's
audio
not
acting up again.
it's not bad at all.
No,
you
because
know,
my circle is small too. I know a lot of people, but my circle is small too, or my
Yeah.
triangle.
when it comes to that type of intimate things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when it
And
comes
then
to
Yeah.
that type of intimacy, yeah, that's you don't want people in. Nah, I can't do that.
yeah, then another piece of that, I would add, with me, my life is like just from a standpoint, I'm a leader. So I gotta lead by example in a major way. And so I'm not faultless or I'm not perfect, but I think when you got
Mhm.
other men around you that's looking up to you that don't know how marriage is supposed to be. And then I think when you're able
That's
to
true.
exchange with other guys, you all can grow together because it may be some things that work for you that may not work for me, but then it may be some things that you do that really will work for me. You may say, hey, hey man, you need to stand your ground. Your wife running over you, man. You know, and my mama said you got your hand-pegged man. You need to stand up. And so accountability goes so many ways, but I think when you got good men around you, iron sharpens iron. I just believe
Yes.
iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
a part of what you were saying, Stanford, about how do we kind of restore the community or just us as people. It's in the individual relationships you have, and you are where you are. You're helping the people around you, and if everybody is that way, then that helps restore families, keep families together, and builds us back up. Because at some point, we're going to all be of age where we're considered elders in our spaces of the world, and so, what do the younger people around us have to look up to? I mean, they'll only have us because our grandmothers are passing away, great grandmothers, if they haven't already. And so, we're the face of the next line of people that they have to look up to help
What do you think
restore
about that,
us.
TB?
My thing is, what about the young man? Yeah, father.
I don't know what
When,
TV about that too.
can you hear me? Is it
I hear you, but
Yes, it's still interference
it's
a little
some
bit.
distortion going on with your
I
mic or
wonder
something.
why. And
I don't know.
Because it's just started back, so it wasn't like that earlier. Mm.
You must got an iPhone, man.
Uh-oh, don't do
I'm not
that.
using my
Watch
Here
out.
we go. Oh my gosh.
iPhone.
Now you distorted. Your mic is distorted. Some kind. I don't know what it is with your audio, but it's very distorted. I hear you, but I can't hear you. I can't make out what you're saying, sir.
Yeah, TB, you breaking up a lot. You must be frozen right now.
So the question now is, how do we start trending back to what we used to have? I mean, I hear a lot of discussion, black men, Dr. Umar. See, everybody talk about the issues. You know what I'm saying? It's like going to the hospital. The doctor gonna tell you what's wrong with you. Now you got to figure out how you're gonna treat the problem. And I think for too long, we keep going to the doctor telling us what's wrong with us. Okay, by now we know what the problem is. Well, how do we medicate ourselves? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
that's what
we
I
all
want to
know
know.
that we all know the old adage that the cure is in the medicine, not the cure. I mean, the issue. I mean, to take care of things and to make sure the cure is in the medicine, not not the cure itself, right? So, I think what black people have to do is go back to who we were. We have to turn our backs on a lot of different things, but because of the way things are embedded right now, how things are, you know, the way the world is right now with the social media and all this other stuff, whatever, it's gonna be very difficult to do so. It's gonna take a man, even a woman, and a woman too, that's gonna be on the same page, and he's going to have, when it comes to his children, he's going to have to be the bad guy. It's just what it is. I'm the bad guy.
Stanford, I think everything. I think even social media can be used
It can be.
in a good purpose. Is if we all do it collectively. The reason why social media is so dangerous is because we get too much feedback of negative stuff and not enough.
Okay, so
not enough
what does that
positive
mean?
vibes. You know what I'm saying? And I
What
think
does that mean?
if
Are
we
we
overflood it with positive vibe, it's gonna trend to a positive way. That's my opinion.
Well, then who are we talking to then? Who are we talking to? If the vast majority of things is, on social media, whatever is it can be used as good. It can be, but it's not. It's just not.
Because
The
we can have
people
these
who know
conversations.
better should speak up more.
We can
But
have these
nobody watches
conversations
that.
over and over and over again. When are we going to start having the solution part of the conversation? That's, you know what I'm saying?
We've had
What
plenty
what
of. I think everybody has a conversation with the solution. We just don't implement them.
Yeah, and I think it's all one is about influence. You have to. It's almost building a house. You got to do it
Yep.
brick by brick. And so
Bit by bit.
oftentimes we'll just say with my man Stafford and with yourself. So just imagine if the people that we influence, we focus on them. And we may not, the thing about social media, I mean, we could be used, but my biggest fear was as a father was, here it is, I'm pouring in my kids each and every day, and that which I'm pouring in them, they got to go out into a world that speak totally against what I'm saying. And so I realized that I had to make sure that I kept an influence on my kids. And my kids are far from perfect, but to this day, I know that I have major influence on them. And so when they come to me about when they have major decisions, they come talk to their father. And so I think it just starts with you knowing who you have influence with, even the young men that I know and the other young ladies that are outside of my kids. They don't have fathers in their homes, but guess what? If I got their ear, I want to make sure that I'm able to pour into them. And so oftentimes it may seem like, that the solution that we want to go forth is not going forth. But at the end of the day, you have somebody come back and say, Robert, I appreciate that conversation you had with me. I appreciate you showing up
Yep.
doing this. And so just, you just got to do it bit by bit. Don't focus on
Mm-hmm.
doing a whole lot.
It,
The
oh,
bigger
it,
crowd.
it
Yeah.
sounds like he's trying to say also too, not trying to say, but he did say it, is that yeah, you're right. You can't change the world like that by yourself. You know what I mean? But I believe he's trying to say sometimes, especially when it comes to our children, it does take a village. It doesn't matter, what part of the world you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Right is right and wrong is wrong. It's
Exactly.
like math. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
we have the doctrine that's there for us at our feet. It's there. Read it. You ain't gonna
Mm.
understand everything. No, you probably won't. I don't. But it's there. The blueprint is there. We just have to be able to accept that. Instead of finding excuses not to be that way, find out and live to the reasons why we should.
Yep.
We
And,
already know why we shouldn't be that way. Look where it lead us at. It ain't good. Now let's go ahead and find out why we should be. That
and
the blueprint is right there. It's
what I
right there.
found to be true, even when I was coming up, the same thing my mom would say to me, I can go hear my aunt say, and I just receive it better. And I got going back to men in my life. I can be saying this, this certain thing to my son or my daughter, and they go hear somebody that's tight. They said, I'm like, he said the same thing, but I can't get upset because, as you said, it takes a village to raise our kids. And so when we understand that, but we live in a whole new day now because when we were coming up, the next door neighbor, she can tell on you, she can whoop you if
Yeah.
you got out of
Chill.
order. It ain't like that no more. Now.
It
And
ain't
that
like
goes
that no
back,
more.
and
Definitely not
yeah, and
like
it
that
goes
no more,
back to
man.
that what? We're
You
taking
finish.
other
Well,
people's
you finish.
cultures into things. Black people tend to sit there and do that.
Yep.
And we need to stop doing that. We know what's right for our children. We know what's
Right.
right for us. We just have to implement it, and we allow certain things and not let us go ahead and, to go get those things. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? It's wild that we know black people, us as black people, we know the solutions to a lot of things. We just don't do them.
Yep.
It's wild to me. We just don't do it. We know it. Yeah, no, he shouldn't say that. She shouldn't do this. He shouldn't do this. She shouldn't say that. We just don't do it. We
Yeah.
don't teach our kids to be that way. We
Yeah.
don't
Terry, how you
understand
sound
it.
now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
There you
You
go.
sound great.
You can hear me? I'm on that iPhone.
Don't worry about. Hey, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, TB. I got
Yeah,
an iPhone too, and I ain't had one issue.
right. Right. I'm on that iPhone. Yeah, that's everything y'all saying is great. But what about the kid that had a father in his life, right? But when he got an adult, the decision that he started making wasn't that one that he seen his father do at home. You know what I mean? You know, we talking about the role models. There's just for example, what we see of LeBron, he didn't have a father. Look how he turned out, right? As we see it, a great thing. But what about the kid that did have a father that went wayward? You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. That's
Yeah.
that. That's what we have to curb in some
Well,
type of
there's
way,
always
right?
exceptions, like
True.
because once we
It is.
become adults, we have our own choices to make, and some people just no matter how they were raised, they're just gonna make their choices to what works for them and how they feel when they get to be an adult. It's
Yep.
disheartening because you want what was
Right.
taught good to be used, because you care, but unfortunately, those are those exceptions you just have to pray about.
That's
Yep.
true.
And I
I
have to
just
have a
want.
conversation. And sometimes I have to have a conversation with parents because a lot of parents, they see their kids, go astray and they feeling guilty by the
Mhm.
fact that the kid's not doing what they saw model. And at the end of the day, you've done your part. If you know you've done your part, hey, you good. And so you
Mhm.
just got to let it be. And I think we can't feel guilty. We know that we've done our part and we didn't do our part, then that's something else.
So watch this.
Right.
Watch this. So we overcome by the blood of the lamb, and the words of our testimony. Right. Watch
Mhm.
this. My mother could not get no sleep
Your slip was over there.
unless I was in jail.
Mm.
But
Wow.
over the years, I had a father in the home, right?
Mhm.
Brothers oldest, sisters oldest, come from, silver spoon and everything, right? But now in life, it's different, right? I use those principles with my kids that I learned from home. But there was a time though that I chose to do, you know, other stuff. You know what I mean? And so,
Yeah.
but I revert back now, like, like now people, I'm having, well, if your mother could see you now, and blah blah. I did documentaries and then been to the White House, and you know what I'm saying. But I like the venture. I went to the streets, but I come from a two-parent household.
But see,
You know,
that's the beauty of it because however you were, there was a turnaround. So that was beautiful. And then you have the opposite where you have some kids grow up in terrible households, and whether it's two parent or not, and they
right,
still turn out to be like diamonds. And
right.
so whichever way it goes, it's a beautiful story at the end if everybody changed for the
So
better.
watch this, Jenny. Everything I learned from home. That
Mm,
makes sense.
yeah,
When I went to the streets, I just perfected what I learned at home.
gotcha. Yeah,
That's real, right? I
gotcha.
learned how to behave at home. I learned how to act a fool at home, right? But when
Mhm.
I went to the streets, I just perfected that, And so that's wild. When I look back now, I see that. I learned it all from home. I didn't pick up nothing in the streets. I just perfected what I learned at home. Just I was the middle kid. Watch this, I was the middle kid, so it was like Saturdays. Who gonna go get something from the grocery store? I had older brothers, so send Terry. Well, okay, yeah, send me. Now I'm crossing streets. I'm out there. I'm doing stuff right. When I come back, I had what I wanted to have. They should have went there on their own. You know what I mean? But I learned how to manipulate from home. You know what I mean? I didn't learn it in
I
the street.
gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So
I
just think
mean,
about that kid in that household and what that household is like. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I remember taking my mom taking my aunt down on Greenwood, and they was going to get commodities, which
Mm,
was spam, uh, egg, which was powdered eggs, powdered milk, the government cheese that they talk about, right? And so I remember getting that, and some of the stuff she would give to us because they gave her so much. You know what I mean? You know, and we would take some home. And so, but my auntie, I don't ever. I think every one of her children, my Aunt Faye, I miss my Aunt Faye because she was my auntie mama. Like he said, I can hear from my auntie better than I can hear from my mother. You know what I mean? I never seen her with a husband, a boyfriend, or nothing. But she had 4, 5 kids, and she took care of every last one of them, and all of them done great. You know what I mean?
mm.
But we had a village, like he said too, uncles and aunties, and everybody around. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
just
think
want.
no, I think most of us, especially young men, when we leave the high school age, we go explore a lot of stuff, man. And but when we get a little older, we always revert back to what we was taught.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? We always
right,
revert back to what we was taught, as
right,
opposed to you not being taught any values. You know what I'm saying? Kids who are not taught any values, they don't have nothing to fall back on when they even if they want to. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So those are the ones that really are at risk, who grow up with like no guidance or nothing like that. So when they
right.
become like older adults, they still I see old men like 40 years old, man, with their pants hanging down.
Mm.
I'm like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying, and those are the guys right there. They really ain't really been taught no real values, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because what grown man would sag his pants, and you 40 and 50, I'm talking about cats 50 years old, man. Sagging their pants. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really?
Yeah, and it goes to that scripture. You train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he'll never depart from
Yes,
it.
He'll never depart.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah, so we gonna stray away from time
right,
to time because I grew
right.
up in the church, man. My mama drug us. We had to go to church, so it was like a mandatory thing. Sunday, you're going to church. Mama gonna get up, fix breakfast early, and we going to church.
Oh yeah.
And even if you didn't want to go,
Right.
you gonna be pouting. You got your lip poked all out, like.
Okay, okay, now great. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So now that's kind of like, has the church let the community of the Negro community, has it let us down? Has it lost its value in our community? Are they respected yet as a real institution, you know, in our community?
I guess it depends on what they're delivering, you know.
I think a
Another
lot of
conversation.
time people hear stories about the church and certain
Mm-hmm.
pastors,
Mm-hmm. We were talking
and
about that.
they make it a across the board thing with all pastors. So now all pastors got to suffer because of what one
Mm-hmm.
pastor did.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
then, like you said, they put this story about this pastor. Then you got, oh, look at these pastors, and you got, you know what I'm saying. But there's some
Mm-hmm.
good pastors out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Who
Right.
just who preaching the word and with real values. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one bad apple spoil the whole barrel type of mentality that we have adapted. So we blame the pastor for everything. We blame every pastor for some pastors stuff they get caught up in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
If I can chime in on that, I'm driving, but if I can chime in, I would add this too, from even a pastoral standpoint, it still goes back to the home, because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, you got to look at, you going to a church once a week, maybe twice.
Mm-hmm.
You with your kids more than the pastors with your kids, or your kids being in church. So it's our
Mm-hmm.
job. I'm the pastor of my home, for I'm the pastor anywhere else. And so
Right.
every man should be the pastor of his home. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we can pass the buck to the church, but I think it's unfair
Yeah.
because I'm not looking. Even if I wasn't a pastor, I'm not looking for a pastor even to raise my child. I'm not even looking for the church to raise my child. They play a
Mm-hmm.
role in it because going back to that village, but at the same time, I believe as a man, it's first and foremost me and my wife responsibility
Mm-hmm.
to hold our kids accountable and to teach them what needs to be taught. And at the end of the day, the church just watering what we already plant.
Right.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
goes
Mm-hmm.
back to the man being the priest.
Yes.
Priest of the household.
Yep.
Yeah.
The prophet, priest, and the king.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of his home.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's good.
Yep.
Mm.
That a priest.
And that
That a
I
priest
when
preaching.
you were
The man
speaking,
being the priest, the prophet, and the king of his home.
right,
Yes.
right. And before you started talking, I was thinking the same thing, and it resonated with me because it's kind of like in education with teachers. A lot of times, parents expect the teachers to do
Yep.
everything, and we already are academically, working with their child, and then we are having to deal with behavior issues that they want to blame us for when that's their child already to start before they even
Yes.
come to school. We're just like a supplement to help since they're with us a lot, Monday through Friday, 180 days in a calendar year, school calendar year. But it's the whole thought of the responsibility falls back to your home.
Yep.
You cannot blame teachers and pastors and stuff for what you ultimately are responsible for that you created.
So
That's true.
true.
I like you said that, and I'm gonna take this. I didn't get to talk back then because my thing was messed up. But the young lady that was on with her husband and the pastor when they talked about their children, and my son went to a predominantly white school, right? And he dominated in sports, right? And those white girls was crazy about him, right? But here's the thing, though, like you just said, 180 days out of the year they there, right?
Mhm.
And just think about this: 8 hours a day, you in class, another hour
Mhm.
and a half to 2 hours. They practicing, or maybe 3 hours. 11 hours a day, he's around that environment, right? And quite naturally, some white girl gonna start liking. You gonna like who you like you.
Mhm.
That's just what had it go. I can
Yep.
remember growing up. Watch this. When I grew up in during the middle 70s, they were still yet burning crosses at our junior high football games, right? Watch this. I had a little white girl was crazy about some Terry Backers, but all those people in class in school started calling her nigger lover, nigger
Wow.
lover. And watch this. So when my son he did date a little white girl, I used to be so nervous chaperoning him to the movies with her, and sometimes I wouldn't go back and pick him up because it'd be nighttime. I would make sure his mother go because y'all not going to get me. That's just how I was raised, right? In that mentality, like, well, I can't have this little white girl around me, because they gonna think I'm pimping or something. You know what I mean? And so really, and so
I see.
but it happens. But he's not with her anymore. It was something they went through, and I don't know if they got active or not, but I'm pretty sure. You understand? But being my son, you know, but it's just a different. They there every day, 6, 8 hours, 9, 10 hours a day. They in an environment that and they like our culture, so they gravitate. I'm gonna tell you like this. I've been to the penitentiary, right? In the penitentiary, when them little young white boys come to the penitentiary that look like they could be a little girl or whatever, you know who they gravitate to? Black men. Because men be after them and they gravitate to black men. Ain't that something? Y'all probably never heard that before in life.
I ain't never heard that.
It's true. It's true. Them young white boys gravitate to black. They love to see strong black men. Period. Wherever we may be in society, they gravitate to us. They gravitate to our culture. You know, they learn as much as they can from us, and they move on. That's what they do. And all about the thing about the desegregation, and we can go back to that again. Man, that's some of the worst stuff in the world that could have happened to us. And
Yeah,
we desegregated.
we
really
just have to know
destroyed,
ourselves, know our
right? It
history.
destroyed us.
You never gave your thought on that. And you do tours at Black Wall Street, right? In Tulsa, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you,
yeah. Yeah, I give tours. So, yeah, I got a lot of questions, about, could we do it again? Can it, like I said earlier, it's because we was excluded and not included. All black communities was built up like how Greenwood was. Auburn Street was built up the same way, right? We didn't have no choice but to spend it and do it with each other. A white woman asked me some years ago when I was giving tours, what could we do separate but equal again? It just wouldn't work because we don't own nothing. Especially that land that Greenwood is on, we don't own none of that. I don't know what it might be on Auburn Street in that area in Atlanta. I'm pretty sure it had been gentrified as well, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
We don't own that no more. There's a lot of wealthy black people, but a lot of those wealthy black people really not really just owning nothing. They can spend the way they want to spend, but they not really
nice.
they not owning nothing.
Right.
They got that 8,000 square foot home on 2 or 3 acres, but they're not owning. That kind of makes sense. They're not turning it over to become entrepreneurs about it. Just not.
And so there's no family generational wealth. There's nothing to pass on to.
No, that's nothing.
Nobody to pass on to.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's gone. I'll be right back. I gotta send my son some money, and I'm on this iPhone. I'll be right back.
We finna get into the parting comment. So you want to give a parting comment before you depart?
Okay. Well, I mean, I just appreciate you doing what you do, man. You've been doing it now for 4 or 5 years, and I remember when we first started out doing it, all the guys that was on it, and you moving right ahead, man. I'm so, I'm for you, man. I'm not against you. I'm for you, Bank. You know what I mean? And so we don't talk like we used to talk, even on the internet. We talked almost daily at one time, but I understand you moving and you grooving, right? And so, do your thing, black man.
I appreciate you, man. And thank you for coming on, man. Good to finally see you talking instead of just an avatar, and have an avatar on.
Yeah.
And it's nice meeting you.
Likewise, Jen. I'm surprised you didn't get a BT on there.
He was on last week. BT be in and out, man.
Yeah, he be in and out. Okay, cool.
He
Keep sending me the links. I kind of got some downtime now, man. Like I say, man, I suffered that loss, man. My life didn't really change. It ain't the same, like I got a kid in college. I got a daughter, so I'm kind of like, I ain't mother and father because I can't never be a mother. You dig what I'm saying? But
yeah, I feel.
Yeah, the burden sometime in this life, man, the burden get heavier as you go, man. You know that?
Yeah, I feel you, man. I just had a loss myself, man. You know,
So
I just lost my mom. We just buried my mom, but
right.
about a month, less than a month ago.
Yeah.
So you know, we just started the show back last week because I had to, you know, trying to find something else to do. Get back into it, you know, while I fall into a depression myself.
Yeah, I like you.
You know,
I like your setup and everything, man. You come a long way, baby.
Yeah, man. I try to upgrade a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying? I be watching other podcasts, and I like them.
I know what I'm gonna tell you though. I look for you every Monday morning. You understand? If y'all play on a Sunday, I was like, where is he at?
You talking about my Falcon report?
You come down my timeline. Oh, there he is. There he is.
It ain't been no good Falcon report the last 2 weeks though.
And the Cowboys of mine, man. You know, I just seen them come, and I just seen them. You know, I don't know if they're gonna win another by the time I check out of here. But you know what I mean? Even OU.
Look, at least you can say you saw 5 of them, didn't you?
I mean, come on.
Well, I'm a Falcon fan. I ain't seen not one Super Bowl.
That's true.
You don't have your field, man. You need to go. You know what I'm saying? You had enough. You know, let us get one, man. You know what I'm saying? Before I check out of here. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see one Super Bowl win from the Falcon or a championship
did that
from
thing in baseball, though. You know what I'm saying? Y'all did that thing in baseball, you know. But I know football.
Baseball is cool, but it ain't like football, doing it in the football. You know what I'm saying? Because you know it's different. You know, it don't be but 2 of us on the whole team in baseball. If that, man, you know what I'm saying?
You know what? That need to be a topic. That need to be a topic because those are brothers, but they're not indigenous to America. You dig what I'm saying? They might be from Puerto Rico, and that need to be a good topic, man. What had happened to the Black American in baseball, man?
Yeah, we'll get with. I'm trying to start a little sports talk too. On another day.
Yeah.
You know, I like to talk. I like to talk about a lot of stuff, man. Politics, religion, sports. I'm just a chatterbox, man.
Y'all to bring the old crew back too.
I went on Pastor Reed's page reading his comment. You know what I'm saying? Trying to butt in on his stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, man. Let me get this to my son before he have a heart attack.
All right, brother. One love, man.
I love you guys.
Good night.
All right, Pastor, you got something you want to say before you get up out of here?
Yeah, man. I just want to commend you. Just keep being a voice, man. And I appreciate you reaching out to me. And believe it or not, when I get to chime in every now and then after you do your shows or whatnot. But I am godly proud of you, man. Keep being a voice, man. Keep shining the light. And anytime you need me, just let me know. I see I can make it happen to be, you know, whatever way I can help.
All right, Pastor, appreciate it, man. Look, man, and I watch your video too, man. You just ain't no pastor, man. You being up pumping that iron, man. I'm like,
hey, man, I'm trying to mind, body, and soul. I'm just trying to stay the course.
I don't try to build me a gym in my garage. I ain't trying to let the age make my body finna sag all over the place. Then I won't be attractive.
Exactly. Well, watch out. Well, you look good, Doc. So long as she like it, that's the only thing that matters.
I'm trying, man. I'm gonna keep looking at your video for inspiration, man.
All right.
It was nice to have you on. Appreciate
well,
it.
Nice to be on. Y'all have a great night.
We might come visit you one Sunday too. Now
that would be great. I like that.
You just let me know. Up another place, right?
Yeah, we out in Johns Creek, at the school actually I work at, and so I got one spot in Lithia Springs, and so we getting ready to open the upper spot back in Smyrna. I just had to navigate, you know, after COVID,
you got
man.
3
Church.
spots?
Well, we getting ready to open up a 3rd spot, so hopefully
I want to go to the one where you at, man.
Well, I'm in Johns Creek. Creek, so you're more than welcome.
I appreciate it, Pastor.
All right, likewise.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, y'all have a good one.
You too. Good night.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, y'all. How y'all doing out there? We appreciate y'all for tuning in with the camera. The camera up there. Okay, you got anything you want to add to all that?
Well, it was so much that I didn't even realize it was going to take up the whole show.
Yeah.
It was a powerful conversation.
I mean, yeah, I like having conversations like that, but I like to get other, especially I like to get other people's in period perspective of how they see things compared to how I see it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like the election, like how people saw certain men saw things a different way in the election. Because I like to learn. I don't like to just listen to people's opinion. I like to see what I can take. I like to see what I can take from them and implement. You know what I'm saying? In my life or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't just do it just to be listening. I like to listen to understand.
Right.
You know.
Because there's always a perspective that you can learn from to make you better.
Yeah.
To give you more knowledge that you didn't even have.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised what people know.
You'd be surprised what people know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised that sometimes how they feel about the same issue is totally different than how you feel about it.
Right.
And it can give you new revelation of how you think of that particular topic or something like that, a particular topic or issue. You know what I'm saying? So what else you got to say? Are we gonna talk about something else about what modern day slave or something like that? You know,
We had a lot of stuff lined up, but I think those things we can tap into later. But I appreciated this conversation. I learned some things, and then also too, I saw and heard things that confirmed some stuff that I've thought too and think already.
Because I was surprised, like, actually, she interested. You know how you be, you have a certain idea of a person. You think this person is that way, and they be totally. They have a different. And
you'd be surprised what people know.
What people know, you know what I'm saying, and what they interested in.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying. I be thinking I be the only one interested in stuff like that in certain topic, but other people we want to talk about it. So I guess it was a good thing to do. Go on Facebook and see what everybody else want to talk about, and invite them on the show to come talk about what they talk about already.
Because I mean, it's the perceptions that we have, and it's just refreshing to like really kind of probe somebody else's mind and see what.
Look, she still. I thought she was going to bed. She come in.
I couldn't see a lot of the comments, because.
But Ashley, let me tell you something about Ashley. Ashley came a long way. I know she's okay. He talking about me. Ashley done came a long way, man, and I'm so proud of her as a woman. You know what I'm saying? I remember when she was young, she used to always say, "I'm the shit." You know what I'm saying? And her mom used to get on her about that. And I told her, "Damn, you really are the shit now, ain't you?" But she came a long way. You know what I'm saying? Family oriented, and she's speaking. She's not ashamed to speak out about how she feels.
Which is good.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, which is good. You know what I'm saying? But her son, Messiah gonna have him a white girlfriend, in which he like it not.
Hey, as long as she treat him good.
What she say?
That's what counts at the end of the day. So.
She say, "Thank you so much." Yeah, you welcome. You welcome. But anyway, we got 5 minutes, so you want to shut it down? See my LOL. No, he's not. He's going to. He's gonna be a Morehouse man. The Morehouse man be sneaking the white girls on campus. What the Agatha? What the white girl? It's a school called Agatha something. St. Agnes or something.
Wow.
What's up, Daryl Sherman? What's up, man? What you talking about? It was kind of fun to hear her talk about being home.
Being home, Black woman. That was
it's
old folks thing.
Yeah, it was an old folk thing, but she got an old soul. She got an old soul. We're not a little talking to young people with old souls. You know what I'm saying? But one day, man, I think we're gonna work it out. I just my biggest fear is leaving my biggest fear is leaving here without us making any progress, trending back to what we want to be. You know what I'm saying?
And better, really.
And being better,
And
yeah.
better.
But I know it's gonna take probably some generations to get back to where we were, because it ain't gonna happen overnight. Because
No, it's not. But
Yeah,
it
but-
starts with a certain generation. So you just say like our age group, and some steps above us. When we, and I'm gonna say this carefully, when we stop trying to act like we're in our 20s, that's the only way we can show the younger generations how to be. We can have fun, but we have to grow up and be mature enough to create that platform for a change. And that's just raw truth. I mean, it may not feel good to hear it, but we know better. And so, like everybody else, it's a choice that we make, if we want to set an example.
yeah, we got to make it being black and proud cool again.
Of course.
Like when James Brown had the song on Black and I'm Proud.
Of course.
I mean, people used to walk around with their chests out. I'm black and I'm proud. And we don't feel like, I don't feel like we proud no more. Like,
Right.
I don't feel like we proud to be who God created us to
Right.
be.
And let me be clear. I'm not saying people in their 20s are all immature. I know some very mature 20-year-olds. What I'm saying is the life of that age group, is a growth and, having a lot of fun. We supposed to have enjoy our life too, but we supposed to get to a point where a younger person can look at us and get it and understand that's what it looks like to mature, not to still, be down here, like where I'm at now, making mistakes and doing stuff out of ignorance. Once you know, you're no longer ignorant, so you're accountable for anybody that's watching you. Because I promise you, people watch, children watch, and you'd be surprised what children pick up from adults, and you don't even know they're looking at you. Like you don't even know. I experience that every day. They watch everything you do. And whether you realize or not, they're picking up those things, how you talk, what you say. They're watching everything, how you respond to stuff. They're always looking. So it's really on us, you know.
Yeah.
We can complain, but we have power to make a difference because we don't know the impact that we can make on one person and what they can do with what we only can do with maybe a few, that one of those few can do greater things. So yeah.
So I think they're earning the bag early on social media. And then nothing wrong with that, as long as they doing social, as long as they put we need some good positive creators.
Mm-hmm.
We got to start, because I see good people posting stuff on social media that, you know what I'm saying, it's not positive. You know what I'm saying?
And I see it every day. I'm just put it out there. I see it every day. These 5 and 6-year-olds.
So we are the
Ooh,
drivers.
they're mimicking. They're mimicking
so
what they're seeing. It's bad.
we make those negative vibes go viral.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I remember people used to post fights, hood fights, and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna uplift us. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, y'all, appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna give all y'all a hand clap of praise. Listen, y'all, we appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Y'all tell somebody about the show and help us get big. Let's make it grow, man, in a positive way. Let's make it grow for positive reason, man. We can build a community where we, exchange information with each other and encourage each other. That's really what this platform was created for, man. When I created the platform, to just have conversation with like-minded, and they're gonna be like-minded people because we're not all like-minded. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like like-minded people. I like to take I like to listen to different points of views. You know what I'm saying? And you can take some from me, what I said, and implement it in your life, and I can take some from you and implement it in my life. That's what it's all about, man. It's like
balance.
Information exchange. Yeah, the stock exchange. This is the information exchange. You know what I'm saying?
Balance,
yeah, balance as right.
You got some I want. and can learn from, and vice versa. You know, it's kind of like you got apples, I got oranges. Hey, I don't want all these apples. Give me some of your
I want some oranges too. It's some bananas. But anyway, y'all, look, we gonna get up out of here, man. Your boy Ariel, that's your girl.
Jenny.
From the block. Yeah. Until next time, man. We love y'all. And guess what?
Ain't nothing y'all can do about it.
Ain't nothing y'all can do about this love, baby.